Hey guys, thanks for tuning into CMTEQ channel. My name is Chad. This presentation is very crucial for anyone who want to learn C programming, or even those who are already involved or busy with C programming. At the end of this presentation, you will have a clear understanding of how C programming works. So stick around and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this presentation a thumbs up if you find anything useful. That will be highly appreciated. I thank you. So to write a C program, as you can see here, you need an editor. Okay? An editor. There are several types of editors that you can find on the internet. Even a simple notepad can be used to write C programming, C source code. And you have code blocks, which is also a very popular one, Visual Studio Code, and Eclipse. Now, these editors are used to write source code. As you can see here, a source code has been created named CMTEQ.c. Now, in the source code here, we've got some directive header files, and we've got the main program. C is a compiled language. This means that the source code, a human language like English in this case, in the form of text, must then be converted into object files, which can then be understood by machines such as microcontrollers and laptops. So after writing your source code and saving it as a .c file like CMTEQ.c here, you need to compile it. The compilation is done by your IDEs. These ones here, they have built-in compilers. You may also compile your C source code using the Windows command line. But before you compile this source code here, it first goes into a processing stage. Now this processing stage is done by the preprocessor, which is invoked by a compiler. The preprocessor checks through your code here to find all the lines starting with hash key, like this. Hash include stdio.h, hash include stdlib.h. These lines are called directives. As you can see here, one of these directives, stdio.h, contains the following function, printf. If we remove this header file, this program will not compile, because for this program to compile, it needs to look into the directive stdio.h. The preprocessor then generates a static library file, basically a machine code with binary numbers. Then the C source code is left with only the source file without a directive, and thus remaining source code here will then be dealt with by the compiler. The compiler will then compile the remaining source file, as shown here, into what is called as an object file, which is also known as a machine code, just like here. But except this one here got some undefined reference, as you can see here. Now these undefined references are precisely the directives that have already been taken by the preprocessor, okay, that have been already compiled into a static library. Because when the compiler compiles this main file here, he finds a printf function, but the compiler cannot find where this printf function is located, and it gives it as undefined. Whereas we know that the preprocessor already took off those directives that the printf function is located in and compile it into a static library that you can see here. Then you're standing with two machine code files. And from here, the next stage is then the linking. So what are we linking? We are linking the object file and the static library so that they can find each other and remove the undefined reference with what is located into this file here. So that is the job of the linker. Now, after the linker have done his job of linking these two files, he then goes ahead and generate what is known as the executable file, the .exe or the hex file. Now, these two files here, which both are machine code, the first one here will be executed in a Windows system, in your computer. Every program is compiled into this executable file before it is run. And the second one here, the .hex file, is what is used for microcontroller, your embedded system. Now from here, the next stage is then to call an application that is called a loader. Now the loader's role is to obviously load this machine code where it is supposed to go. So we're going to have a creation of a DLL file, a dynamic link library. So the loader will then load this machine code into the computer memory so that it can be ready to be executed, or whatever task. Like this task here is supposed to print hello CMTEQ on the console application. So after going through all this process, it's then going to be loaded into this computer memory, and it's going to print hello CMTEQ on the screen, on the console. Then for MCUs, like this chip here, we make use of programmers or debuggers to then load the hex file into the program memory or the flash memory of the chip here. And then it's going to be executed. Like in your Arduino programming, the debugger programmer there is taking the machine code and loading it into your Atmega 328 and displaying whatever instructions that are supposed to be displayed like on an LCD display. So this is the basic overview of how a C program works in its compilation, code generation, and everything. Thank you for watching this presentation. You can now go ahead and start learning C programming. But before you go, don't forget to subscribe to CMTEQ channel and give this tutorial a thumbs up. That will be highly appreciated. Until next time, stay tuned. Cheers.